A tragic car accident has claimed the lives of 3 young individuals, and it's raising serious questions that extend far beyond the crash itself. Could this catastrophe have been prevented? Was it a tragic fluke, or the result of flawed engineering? On a quiet evening in Piedmont, California, a Tesla Cybertruck crashed into a concrete wall at high speed. The initial impact was brutal, but what happened next turned an accident into a nightmare. The vehicle caught fire and the young passengers inside were trapped with no way out. Only moments later, a friend arrived at the scene and rushed to help, but what he encountered was a terrifying reality. The Cybertruck's doors wouldn't open. The electronic locking system, which was designed to be sleek, modern, and user-friendly, had become a death trap. Without power, the doors remained sealed. The tragedy has devastated the victims' families and ignited public outrage. Fingers are now being pointed squarely at Tesla and Elon Musk himself. People are asking, was this just a tragic accident, or does it reveal a dangerous flaw in Tesla's design philosophy? It all began like any ordinary evening. Soren Dixon, just 19 years old, was driving his Tesla Cybertruck home after a party, heading to a friend's house just minutes away. But on a winding stretch of road, he was reportedly driving too fast. He lost control. The Cybertruck, a vehicle weighing more than 3 tons, veered off the road, slammed into a wall, and came to a crushing halt. The crash alone was severe but survivable. What followed was far worse. The front of the vehicle erupted in flames. Soren and his 2 friends, Jack Nelson and Krista Sakahara, struggled desperately to escape the growing inferno, but the Cybertruck's doors remained locked. The truck's signature electronic locks, dependent on battery power to function, had failed in the crash. Matt Reardon, a close friend who had been driving behind them, saw the flames and stopped instantly. He sprinted toward the vehicle, trying to pry open the passenger door. He pressed the Cybertruck's exterior door button. Nothing. He slammed his fists against the reinforced window. It didn't break. In desperation, he grabbed a heavy tree branch and repeatedly smashed the window with all his strength. After several blows, the glass finally cracked and gave way. He reached inside, pulled out Jordan Miller, barely conscious, and dragged him to safety. Screaming, Matt turned back to help the others. Krista was trying to move toward the broken window, but the heat forced her back. By the time Matt reached the rear seat, the fire had fully engulfed the cabin. Helpless, he was forced to watch as his friends were consumed by the flames, unable to escape a vehicle that had been marketed as the safest in its class. A truck that was supposed to represent the future of transportation had become a steel coffin. The public spotlight is now fully on Tesla, and more specifically, on Elon Musk. The core question haunting this tragedy is no longer just how the accident happened, but why the victims couldn't escape. Was this merely the tragic result of high speed and human error? Or is there a more dangerous truth that Tesla's ambitious design choices prioritized aesthetics and innovation over basic life-saving functionality? At the heart of the controversy are Tesla's door systems. Unlike traditional vehicles, which rely on mechanical handles that can be opened regardless of power status, Tesla's cars, including the Cybertruck, use a fully electronic locking and release system. This minimalist approach may look futuristic and sleek, but it creates a dangerous dependency. Without power, the doors become dead weight. In this crash, that dependency proved fatal. The Cybertruck's battery was likely damaged on impact. With no electrical power, the digital door release buttons were useless. And while Tesla vehicles do have emergency manual releases, they are often hidden, especially in the rear. In the Cybertruck, the rear doors require passengers to first remove a cover to access a small mechanical emergency pull. That design might work in calm conditions, but not when smoke fills the cabin. The interior is pitch black and seconds separate life from death. Automotive safety engineer Adam Cook has studied Tesla's door systems extensively. His verdict? The design may be visually impressive, but it fails under real-world emergency conditions. He said, "You should never need a user manual to escape a burning car." Unfortunately, the Piedmont tragedy is not an isolated case. In 2019, a similar story unfolded in Florida. Dr. Omar Awan crashed his Tesla Model S. Though first responders reached him quickly, they were unable to open the doors. The Model S also featured electronic door handles that retracted when not in use. The system failed, and Awan perished in the resulting fire. That incident sparked initial calls for regulatory action, but little changed. Now history seems to have repeated itself, only this time it's even harder to ignore. The same design principles that played a role in Awan's death may have once again contributed to a tragedy. Elon Musk, known for championing radical innovation, has long pushed Tesla to lead the industry in cutting-edge design, but critics are asking, at what cost? Was the decision to remove traditional door handles really about progress, or simply style? Mechanical handles have worked for over a century and don't need electricity to function, yet Tesla replaced them with high-tech alternatives that can fail, and in Piedmont they apparently did. The Cybertruck, promoted as nearly indestructible with bulletproof glass and a stainless steel exoskeleton, failed one of the most fundamental tests of all, allowing its occupants to escape in an emergency. Now, pressure is mounting from the public, from lawmakers, and from former Tesla supporters. The Piedmont crash has become a national controversy, drawing attention from every major media outlet. Headlines now read less like isolated coverage of an accident and more like a broader investigation into systemic safety flaws within one of the world's most celebrated automakers. Tesla's past issues are being pulled back into the spotlight. The Cybertruck, which was originally envisioned as a symbol of the future of utility vehicles, has faced a troubling series of recalls since its launch in late 2023. Among the most serious problems was a faulty accelerator pedal that could become detached and jam, leading to sudden and unintended acceleration, a potentially dangerous situation for both the driver and others on the road. In addition to that, the vehicle was plagued by defective windshield wipers that failed to function properly during bad weather, severely affecting visibility and safety. There were also alarming reports about a malfunctioning tailgate mechanism that could open while the vehicle was in motion, posing risks not only to the cargo being transported, but also to surrounding drivers. Another issue that raised concern involved the rear-view camera system. The malfunction significantly impaired visibility and put the Cybertruck in violation of federal safety standards. Most recently, Tesla came under fire when it was revealed that instead of using traditional mechanical fasteners, the company had opted to attach the Cybertruck's exterior panels with industrial-strength glue. This unusual design choice led to fears that parts of the vehicle could detach while driving, raising even more serious questions about long-term safety and durability. This growing list of recalls is more than just an inconvenience. It's beginning to shape a narrative that Tesla, once seen as the gold standard of EV innovation, is losing control of its quality standards, and perhaps even its moral compass. Tesla's solution to many of these issues: over-the-air software updates. While that's a smart tool for digital fixes, experts warn that it's not enough when the problems are mechanical or structural. A faulty pedal or a jammed door can't be patched with code. And yet, Tesla seems to treat nearly every issue like it's a software bug, rather than a potential life-threatening flaw. One of the most controversial aspects of the Cybertruck's design is its rigid stainless steel body, the same feature that makes the vehicle look futuristic and feel durable. Traditional vehicles are engineered with crumple zones that absorb impact and reduce the force transferred to passengers. The Cybertruck, however, has minimal deformation zones. That means more of the energy from a crash is absorbed directly by the people inside. Engineers and crash analysts are now questioning whether the Cybertruck is even safe enough for everyday use. Some suggest that it could be causing more severe injuries in high-speed crashes, even if the frame of the vehicle remains intact. Worse, Tesla has used a legal loophole in US automotive regulations to self-certify its vehicle safety. Unlike many automakers that submit vehicles for third-party crash testing with groups like the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, IIHS, or rely on National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA assessments, Tesla conducts many of its safety evaluations internally. This practice, while technically legal, is now drawing intense scrutiny. Should any company be allowed to test and approve its own safety claims? These compounding issues have significantly damaged the once promising image of the Cybertruck. What was meant to be a revolutionary leap forward in design and functionality has instead become a cautionary tale. The combination of software glitches, questionable engineering decisions, and manufacturing shortcuts suggests a pattern, one in which the pressure to innovate quickly and maintain hype may have overtaken fundamental principles of automotive safety and reliability. Public confidence in Tesla's quality control has begun to erode. Each new defect or recall seems to validate the concerns of critics who have long warned that Tesla sometimes puts form over function. The most recent revelation that exterior panels were glued on rather than securely bolted has sparked particular outrage. It's a method rarely, if ever, seen in large-scale automotive production, and one that seems more suitable for lightweight consumer electronics than a 2-ton utility vehicle. Industry experts argue that this decision may have been driven by cost-saving goals or the desire to simplify production lines, but in doing so, Tesla may have compromised one of the most basic expectations consumers have of their vehicles: structural integrity. The use of adhesive instead of mechanical fasteners also raises serious questions about long-term durability and repairability. In traditional automotive manufacturing, screws, bolts, and welds are preferred because they provide clear tension points, are resistant to environmental wear, and are easy to inspect and replace. Glue, on the other hand, degrades over time, especially under extreme temperatures, moisture, and UV exposure. For a vehicle like the Cybertruck, which was marketed as being built for rugged conditions, this choice seems especially contradictory. Owners and industry professionals alike are beginning to express deeper concerns. Some mechanics have reported early cases of panels coming loose or misalignments developing after only a few months of ownership. This isn't just an aesthetic issue. Loose parts can become dangerous projectiles at highway speeds. A truck built to be a tank on wheels now faces the embarrassing perception of being held together, quite literally, by glue. Tesla has stated it will address the problem by reinforcing the affected panels with stronger adhesive and additional structural support, but this raises further questions about whether such measures are truly enough or if a fundamental design overhaul is needed. Meanwhile, regulatory bodies are taking notice. With the rising number of reports and mounting media coverage, federal safety authorities are being urged to investigate whether Tesla's design choices meet current safety standards, and if not, whether stricter oversight is required for new vehicle technologies that bypass traditional engineering norms. Beyond safety agencies, lawmakers have also begun weighing in. Several U.S. senators and members of Congress have called for hearings on the regulatory loopholes that allowed Tesla to self-certify aspects of the Cybertruck's safety. In particular, critics argue that electronic door systems, unconventional structural materials, and glue-based panel assemblies should have been subjected to independent, rigorous testing before public release. The fact that they weren't, and that these design decisions may have contributed to fatalities, is increasingly viewed not just as an engineering failure, but potentially a policy failure. Public trust in Tesla has taken a noticeable hit. Once seen as the standard bearer of future-forward transportation, Tesla now faces a reckoning. Can cutting-edge innovation coexist with traditional safety? Forums that were once full of enthusiastic buyers now host worried discussions about recalls, mechanical reliability, and whether Tesla has lost sight of what really matters in auto manufacturing, building vehicles that not only amaze but also endure. Some longtime fans of the brand are backing away, saying that the risks no longer justify the excitement. The implications go even further. If Tesla's shortcuts or design missteps become a broader industry trend, it could set a dangerous precedent. Automakers under pressure to match Tesla's speed and style might follow suit, placing market hype over time-tested engineering. For now, Tesla's Cybertruck remains on sale, but with multiple recalls, a media firestorm, and growing scrutiny from regulators and the public, its long-term survival and Tesla's reputation hang in the balance. Even as the Cybertruck's future remains uncertain, its impact is already reshaping the automotive industry. Competing manufacturers are taking note, both to learn from Tesla's boldness and to avoid its pitfalls. Established automakers like Ford, GM, and Toyota are increasingly emphasizing safety in their EV development strategies, while these companies are also exploring advanced technologies like digital interfaces and drive-by-wire systems. They're doing so with more caution, maintaining mechanical redundancies and placing strong focus on compliance with crash standards. Some startups, especially in the EV and autonomous driving space, are now actively distancing themselves from Tesla's move fast and break things philosophy. Executives from Rivian and Lucid have given interviews stressing their commitment to rigorous testing and third-party certification, hoping to win over cautious customers who still want electric innovation but without the risks associated with incomplete or unverified designs. Meanwhile, Tesla faces growing internal challenges. Reports suggest employee morale at production facilities has dipped in the wake of safety concerns and media backlash. Assembly line workers at Giga Texas, where the Cybertruck is being produced, have anonymously voiced concerns about the pressure to meet production quotas at the cost of thorough inspection. Former engineers have begun speaking out, saying that warnings about certain materials and build choices were ignored or downplayed to meet deadlines. At the center of it all is Elon Musk. Once celebrated as a visionary disruptor, he now faces growing scrutiny not just from the press, but from financial markets. Investors are watching closely to see whether Tesla can stabilize its reputation before the Cybertruck becomes a symbol of overreach. Musk's famously defiant tone has not helped. His recent social media comments dismissing critics as fearmongers and accusing the media of bias have sparked further debate about his leadership. Some shareholders have even called for stronger corporate governance and more transparency in how safety decisions are made. As pressure mounts, Tesla's broader brand identity is being tested like never before. Once known as the fearless innovator that outpaced legacy car makers, Tesla is now being seen by some as a company that may have grown too fast for its own good. The Cybertruck was supposed to be the ultimate proof of Tesla's engineering brilliance. A futuristic vehicle combining strength, speed, and radical design. Instead, it has become a case study in how ambition, if not carefully managed, can backfire. Public perception is shifting. Online forums that were once full of anticipation and fan praise are now filled with disappointment and concern. Cybertruck pre-order holders are canceling reservations. Some early adopters who received the truck have begun posting photos and videos documenting defects, from misaligned body panels to loose components and unexplained warning lights. These viral posts are doing real damage, adding to the narrative that Tesla's quality control has slipped and that its vehicles are no longer living up to their premium branding. The resale market has also reacted. Cybertrucks listed by private sellers are no longer fetching high prices, with some being sold at a loss only months after delivery. This is a significant shift for a brand whose cars used to retain value better than most other EVs. Auto analysts suggest that unless Tesla regains consumer confidence quickly, it could lose the price premium it once commanded, and that would make competing on both quality and value much harder. Adding fuel to the fire, new lawsuits are beginning to pile up. Several law firms have already filed product liability cases, not only related to the Piedmont fire, but also citing general issues with Cybertruck safety and design. These cases allege that Tesla knowingly pushed a product to market that did not meet basic safety expectations. One class action complaint claims Tesla failed to adequately disclose the limitations of its electronic door systems, especially in emergencies where seconds matter. If these lawsuits progress, Tesla could be facing not only financial damages, but also forced recalls and regulatory action.